Are you doing your surveys properly? Are you thoroughly going over all of the details that you need to when you're on a survey? In this video, I'm going to go over a couple of key points that you and your shop should look for when you go on your sign surveys and when you're in front of that customer and what things that you need to look for. Check it out. What's going on, everybody? I'm Peter Karunas with Shopvox, and in this video I'm going to go over surveys. What is a survey? A survey is when you either before or after a sale, you're going to the job site, you're going to the customer's location, and you're doing a thorough inspection of your sign placement, what type of sign that you're going to be selling your customer. Now, many of us do surveys before we actually do a sale. Some of us actually can do a thorough survey after the sale. The key here is to be thorough. We want to gather all of the details that you possibly can think of when you're on a customer's location, when you're on customer site at their location. What are the types of things that you're going to be discussing here? Well, you're going to be discussing sign types. You could be discussing colors, size. You could be discussing placement. You could be discussing obstructions. These are all of the things that we need to discuss here at the survey, so that we can make our customers mindful of the potential outcome that they're going to see when the sign is on the building or on their job site. One of the key things that I love to do when I'm on a survey, after I take all my measurements and all of my photos, I like to have a conversation with the customer about what their expectations are and what they see for the vision of their business, for their storefront, for their appearance to the outside world. After we have a conclusion here, I encourage all of you sign shop owners to take this opportunity to voice your opinions. You are the professionals in your craft. The customer is asking you to come to their place of business and give them your professional opinion. So whether you're new to this business or you're 30 years or 40 years in this business, it's at this point, the survey, when it's okay that you're going to offer your opinions on what you see are working with some of your other customers. Maybe this is the point where you can make certain suggestions. Maybe this is the point where you can look at their aesthetics, their interior decor. Ask them, are they working with an interior designer? Many businesses start up these days without branding, without a logo, so you can typically start there. What type of colors are they looking for to display their business, to display their brand? This is where you're going to have these conversations. Some sign shops are coming, taking a picture, taking measurements, and saying, okay, we're going to mock something up for you, and that's that. I like to have a consultative approach when it comes to the survey. I'll make an appointment with the customer and give the customer a thorough, free analysis of what our opinions are of their business. Now, we'll go through the colors and the sign types and the style and budget even. Any type of information that your customer gives you at the survey is gold. You want to take notes. You want to listen to whatever it is that they want as well, so that maybe you can present them an option with what they want, and then you can present them an option with what you're suggesting, and let them compare the two. Menu selling is the easiest form of selling. Providing customer options is the easiest form of selling. If you're giving them only one option, you're essentially waiting for a yes or no answer. If you're providing them three options, maybe you're providing them three estimates, maybe you're going to provide them three different mock-ups to let them choose which one they like best. The key here is to create some diversity between a good, better, and best option. This is your option for $2,000, this is your option for $5,000, this is your option for $7,000. Keep the differences between your options at a distance so that you can kind of gauge where your customer feels comfortable in making a purchase with you. Let's talk about obstructions here for a moment. Many of you don't do this, but this is where us sign professionals shine. Sign placement is often a discussion based off of where the customer thinks they want to put the sign. But we know where the best places are to place signs. Sometimes there are variables that go into your decision as to where you're placing a sign or how big or small a sign needs to be. Let's take, for example, streetlights. Is this place of business at an intersection where a lot of traffic is going to be stopped different periods throughout the day. If it is, then you want to take advantage of placement in a place where all corners of that intersection can see these signs. Another variable is speed. How fast are people zooming down the road? Are they able to see a sign of this size for a duration of time? Or are they just going to whiz by it and not notice the sign at all? Colors often present an eye-catching variable for this outcome. If you find that the traffic is very fast, you're going to want a large, vibrant sign here. Use your reds, your yellows, and your black and whites colors to engage and garner attention. Remember, signs are a lot like Google pay-per-click variables, right? How many cars whiz by that sign a day is what we call an impression. The same type of terminology we use when you're talking about how often your Google listing shows up in the search results page. So the more impressions will lead to more conversions, which will help drive your customer acquisition cost. Remember, you're only paying for a sign once in most cases, so it's the best form of advertising for your business. These are the types of variables that we want to remind our customers on the survey. But why are we doing this on the survey? The moment we greet the customer, we are setting expectations. We are allowing the customer to gain insight to our knowledge, to our craft. Right? We're talking about variables here that many other sign companies will overlook. Is it windy? Does the sun hit this side of the building, and is the sign tending to fade over time if we place it here? These are all things that we have to look at as sign professionals, but we're not often communicating these thoughts and processes to our customer, thus potentially leaving the customer with an outcome that might have a sour taste in their mouth after a certain amount of months, maybe a couple of years of having the sign there. If you told the customer that the sign was going to last them 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and it only ended up lasting them 1 or 2 or 3 years, they're going to have a very sour taste in their mouth with you and your company. So set those expectations. Make sure that you are actually communicating every aspect that you found on the survey. Some helpful tools. For those of you that are not using this tool, I would highly recommend you getting your Stanley measuring tool or your Spike measuring tool. This is going to help you and your shop. And for those of you that are doing this on a more novice and beginner level, a Spike measuring tool allows you to take photos and measurements in an instant without you having to whip out that ladder, without you having to jump into a bucket truck potentially to get measurements to give the customer on an estimate. You can get those details, the measurements and the photos, right there in your Stanley Spike measuring tool cloud, which will have a direct connection between your smartphone and your back office. Another tool that you might consider using is a 1x1, a 12-inch by 12-inch corrugated sign with your logo on it that you can place in front of the building and take a picture of the building. This way, when you want, the aspect of that sign that you placed in the photo is 1x1, so it allows your graphic designer back at the back office when it comes time to do your mock-ups to scale out that photo to size, so we actually can get a better gauge as to how big that sign is going to be. And lastly, make sure that you take your tape measures, your digital tape measures, your ground measuring tools. This is all going to be needed when you're doing a thorough survey. You might want to also consider taking a couple of tools with you, your camera with you, a clipboard and pen and paper, and make sure that you bring your sales collateral with you along on the survey, because this is when you're going to give them your business card, your brochures, maybe a coupon if they need, and this is where you're going to provide them with exceptional customer service. So that's it for me in this video. I hope you learned a little bit of something here on surveys. Be a little bit more detailed when you get on those surveys. I always found it that it's encouraging for the customer to gain more insight and more opinions and more thoughts and keep you engaged in their thoughts. It will lead to more sales for you and your business. I'm Peter Karunas with Shopbox. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do me a favor, please like and subscribe, but don't forget, hit that little bell in the corner, please, so that you know when my next video is going to drop on this channel. I wish you all the best and stay positive out there.